right, so we're looking at your trade book, and yes, of course, you can use images at this point that we're taking at any time. They don't need to be from this semester. And we have your title on the front, and I think I mentioned before that this is a little bit repetitive to have your name and then Taye's photography all one right after the other. And so I wonder if you could choose one or the other so we don't feel that repetition. And then as we open the book, we have a blank page. And I think again here you could say Taye's photography and then have the title of the series here. So the many faces of your mom, if that's what it was named, of something similar to that. So that's what I would have on this page. And then we get right into it. So what you have is, by having us look at two images at once, we're kind of overwhelmed by the images, right? Overwhelmed by looking at her face, have two of her faces on both sides of the page. It can be a little bit like too much at some points, but I think that's your goal here, is that you want us to see all of these facial expressions that your mom has and kind of take all that in and get overwhelmed by how quickly they change. So if that is your goal, I think that this is coming together. So all of your images, you have it full frame on one side and then with a white border on the other side. And I think that can work sometimes. I don't know if you want every single image to be like that. I think if you're going to repeat it for every single frame, then we need to have it on both sides, have that white frame on both sides to separate them a little bit more. Okay, and then this image is duplicated here for images pages 6 and 7. But overall, I think besides that's obviously just an error, not something that you did intentionally. Besides that, I think you have good variety here. You're showing more variety, you're showing less repetition, and we can move through these and see a lot more expressions. And that's the goal. We don't want to see her in the same place a few times. We want to see how this is constantly changing, how her facial expressions are evolving, like moment to moment. And we get that kind of feeling of overwhelmment from it by looking at all of these images back to back. So I think that's coming together well for you. I still think it would be valuable to have, like, if you have all of these images that you've shot over the course of these semesters, to have a page or 3 pages that are scattered in there that are just grids of your mom's facial expression. So we're really getting that feeling of being overwhelmed by her. All right, and then the last thing I want to point out is that you have 15 images, but we start on page 2. So you're showing 14 images here, and then you have 2 that are repeated, so that brings us down to 12 images. So just keep in mind that for your final project, you're going to need 15 to 20 images. So you're a little short still here, which is okay because you have plenty of time to still shoot and fill this in, but keep that in mind. All right.